Hi everybody, I have a good tutorial for you today. What I'm going to be showing you is I have taken Fusette, the Fit A female, into Unity, and I've added some blend shapes. And what I've done is I've exported this mesh from Adobe Fuse with a couple of, facial features. I guess in this case it's actually ear features. And I've added them as a blend shape right onto my skinned mesh figure. So this is a little bit of an involved tutorial, and there's just a couple of things that I need to go over with you first before you even attempt this tutorial. What you need to do is download your figures. If you're using Fuse, you need to download from Mixamo in original pose. And this is going to actually give you the bind pose for your figure. And bind pose, or original pose as Mixamo calls it, is when it's the shape that the mesh was before it got the bones. Okay, so it's like the original sculpt of the figure. And you're going to need this before you even attempt to do any of this tutorial. And I'll show you what goes wrong towards the end. So just actually, like I actually said this in my last video, but I'll say it one more time, like as a total disclaimer, since, since Fuse is maybe going away, we don't, you won't be able to download it anymore. It should still work, and the auto rigger is always a little wonky. It's just a great idea to load up a Fit A female. And actually, you know what? Okay, also in this tutorial, here's one more thing that I need to tell you. Okay, the Fit A female that I'm using in these tutorials is one that I imported from the content creator package in Adobe Fuse. So I'm going a little bit out of order, and I'm sorry I'm a little bit off script, and I actually have a lot to say, so I'm trying not to ramble, but this is all about the bind pose and which model you use, because not all of the figures inside Fuse are the same. And if you've created your own figures, you might have rearranged their vertex order. And blend shapes is all about the vertex order. Okay, so let's get into what blend shapes are. So blend shapes is just a deformer, a mesh deformer that is based on a target mesh. So if you don't know what blend shapes are, they're morphs, morph targets. I think Blender calls them shape keys. Whatever, it's all the same thing. And we don't really need a lot of technical knowledge. What you need to know, though, goes back to this bind pose. You must have your original mesh in the same vertex order and in the same exact positions, which you will get if you do, if you download your Mixamo model in original pose. And I am using the Fit A female from the content creator package because her teeth are separate. And I told you in a previous video why I like the teeth being separate is for a shader issue. But once we do blend shapes, yeah, you need those teeth out of there because they get different blend shapes than the skin. All right, so the tool that I'm using is called SkinnVM. It does cost money. It's cheaper if you buy it on itch.io, so go buy it on itch.io instead. And I am just going to delete these models. So what I have is I've gone into Unity and I have loaded up this Fit A female from the content creator package. And I haven't touched the dials inside the inside Fuse. Like I didn't edit her at all. Okay, and send her up to the Mixamo Auto Rigger, and then I downloaded her in original pose. So that is my Fusette figure, and of course she comes in with all these problems. But also, let's just set up. I'll just go over the import settings really quick on the rig. Now I've clicked on her down here in the project. On the rig, I set to humanoid, and then on the model, I turn off all of these specific scene FBX things. I turn off the sort hierarchy, and no mesh compression. Read and write must be enabled, so on. Optimize mesh is nothing, and don't select keep quads. Okay, we want triangles. And there are also, these settings are specific to Adobe Fuse. Use the legacy blend shapes, and you'll have a lot fewer problems. Import your normals, and use normals mode is unweighted legacy. And import your tangents, okay? And then we hit apply. We still don't get our textures, but that's okay because the auto rigger screws up the textures. So I've exported my Fuse textures separately, and I'm just going to apply them to my figure. And remember, I said in my last video that I like the teeth to be separate so that I can do the eyes and the teeth. And notice how this figure does not have the right naming. It's okay, we'll just edit it. And eyelashes. Oh, and I might as well do her bikini too. Okay, what am I going to do? So here are her standard blend shapes. They are in the eyes, even though I don't know why jaw down needs to be in the eyes. It's just obnoxious, whatever. That's just how it goes. All right, so what are we going to do? So the tutorial today is called Mesh to Blend Shape. So where do we get the mesh that we're going to turn into a blend shape? Well, we get it right here on the figure. And go ahead and select the body, and we're going to set a couple of blend shapes and then bake that to mesh. And if you watched one of my other videos where I compared the iPhone 10 blend shapes to the Mixamo blend shapes, and I was like, I think I got something wrong. Yeah, I got something wrong. Okay, so I'm going to start this tutorial kind of easy and fix that problem that is on the iPhone 10 that Mixamo can't do. And the issue is on the iPhone 10, halfway between frowning and smiling is a blend shape called dimple. And what it is it looks like frowning and smiling at the same time. You see, it's just the corner of the mouth is pulled over into the side. And iPhone 10 calls this mouth dimple. So Mixamo cannot do this. I guess in Mixamo's system, you know, they did it this way. Frown and smile were done at the same time, and it results in dimple. But the iPhone 10 actually dials out your smile. It dials out your frown to dial in your dimple. So when I'm doing these puppet things, I'm like missing a lot of mouth movement. So I'm going to go ahead and create this as a blend shape and add it to this figure. And the way I'm going to start doing that, I've got the blend shape set the way that I want. I'm going to right click, skin, and where is it? It's under skin, bake to mesh renderer. and it offers to name the mesh, but then for some reason it doesn't name the mesh. So I'm just going to name the mesh so I don't forget what this is. This is mouth dimple left, something like that. I don't really remember how it's called on the other side. Now, Skin thinks it's being helpful, so it made this new mesh, which is not a skinned mesh. This is a regular static mesh. Okay, so it activated this mesh while turning off my body mesh, and that's not what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and set this back. Now I am going to zero these out. So we're back where we were before. And here's how we do mesh to blend shape. So I'm going to click on the mesh, click on the mesh renderer. Well, I'm going to right click on the mesh renderer. I've got skin, clipboard, copy, because I'm copying the mesh renderer, okay? I'm going to go back to my body, right click on the skinned mesh renderer, skin, and again clipboard, paste, mesh as blend shape, and I just want to make sure that that one is turned off so that we can see. Here it is down at the bottom. It was just added to the end, and that's our new blend shape. All right, I'm going to make the same one for the right side real quick. Frown right, smile right. I'm going to right click, skin, skin, bake to mesh renderer, and yes, name it, but it doesn't name it. I don't know why. And what are we calling this? Mouth dimple R. And I will show you that we can edit this in a moment. Okay, so we're gonna right click on the mesh renderer, skin, and clipboard, sorry, copy, because we're copying the mesh renderer, back up to the body, right click, skin, clipboard, paste, mesh as blend shape. And whoops, I left those in, so let's just turn those off. Yeah. Oh, I see a little bit of the other mesh. That's what I don't want to see. Okay, so yeah, left and right, and notice how I did this inconsistently. So I'm just going to go up here, and this is another feature of Skin. I'm going to Skin, Shapes, Edit Names, and here are the blend shapes. I guess I will do camel, so I will edit this one. I'm going to right click, rename, and I will, you know, like everything else is not that way. So okay, I'll edit this way. This is what happens when I go off script because I'm doing an actual tutorial this time. Okay, mouth dimple, enter. Make sure you hit that apply filter, and when we get the mouse shape, okay, and it is edited here as well, capitals, okay? Pretty easy. That's mesh to blend shape, okay? So you can imagine there on the iPhone 10, a lot of these, let me come back and talk to you a minute. So you can imagine that on the iPhone 10, a lot of the blend shapes are unilateral. They are, you know, one blend shape for raise eyebrows in the middle, one blend shape that does the mouth funnel, and on the Mixamo blend shapes, it's split left and right. So it'd be really easy to go through and create some of these missing blend shapes for Mixamo, but that's not all you can do. So the next part of my tutorial, I went into Fuse, and now remember, be careful, this is the same figure that I exported before and downloaded in bind pose. And I know I'm just trying to drill this into your head. You must use the same figure because it looks the same. All of the base meshes look the same, but they're not necessarily in the same vertex order depending on who edited them. Maybe I edited them if you ever have been to my itch.io store. And I apologize, I did not do it correctly if I did that wrong. But anyway, whatever you morphs you add to your infuse to export as obj, just make sure you do it on the same model, okay, so that the vertex orders will be the same. So all I'm doing is I am taking a very simple one dial, the ears. So I'm making a pointy ears, but it's the same model otherwise, right? I'm going to export as OBJ directly out of Fuse. And now I will take you back to Unity. And I have already imported that model. And here she is. Now she fits right on top of my original fit A. And I did go through here and I did the same import settings. And remember, again, I'm going to drill this home forever and ever. I downloaded my rigged figure in bind pose. So all of her body mesh is lined up perfectly. So you can probably guess how this works. We've got submeshes. I want the body. And you know what? I'm just going to name it right here. And let's do ears bat. Okay, I'm going to right click on her mesh renderer, skin, clipboard copy, because we're copying the mesh. And I'm just going to turn this off. Up to the body, right click, skin, clipboard, paste, mesh as blend shape. And here they are, ears bat. I could have done bat ears, but let's say we have a bunch of different ears, so we want them all grouped together. Ears bat. And da-da-da. Yeah, so these are, and the smirk. Hey, look at that. Okay, that could be a DreamWorks character right there. Okay. You know what? Okay, so woo! I added 3 blend shapes, and I don't know how much time it is. Maybe I should stop. But since we're having so much fun, I'm going to go one step too far. So I'm going to sorry, that wasn't what I meant to do. But hi again. Let me go back to Unity. Yeah, so new, I want to delete. Okay, so I went back in Fuse, and I'm just going to create a really problematic morph. And it's just something that's going to ruin the bones because the eyes are too far apart and they're too big. They're like I'm shifting the mesh, but I'm not shifting the bones. So, spoiler alert, this is going to be a problem. But let's see how this works out, and let's have a little conversation about how we could fix it so that it would work out okay. So now I've exported this again as OBJ, and here she is, my, yeah, I don't know what. But yeah, let's just see how this works. Okay, so I'm not gonna name everything just right away, but let's go through this. So skin, oops, clipboard, copy, into the body, right click, skin, clipboard, paste, mesh as blend shape, and this is going to be a disaster, so I'm not actually going to bother naming it. So you're going to see these. Oh no, actually I should just go ahead and name it. What am I talking about? Do it in a minute. All right, I'm going to hide my original Neko, and let's see this like disaster blend shape. Let's see how this works. Why can't I? Where are you? Okay, so what you see right away is the eyes and the lashes and the teeth. They need this same blend shape. So let's do that. Let's take the teeth. Copy. And remember, I like exporting the teeth. Well, here we go. Yeah, teeth. Clipboard. Paste. Mesh as blend shape. So it's got the wrong name, but let's just slide them up. There they are. What do we need next? Let's get the eyelashes. And lastly, the eyes. And what are they called? Default? Of course they are. Clipboard. Paste. Mesh to blend shape. All right, now check this out. I honestly think this looks really cool. Like, yeah, I want my figures to do this. I really think that's kind of awesome. Thing is, this is not going to work. Okay, sad trombone, but this is not going to work. Okay, let's look at the bones real quick. So her head bone, oh, in the right. Okay, so in the right gizmo. Okay, so sorry. Now let me just reset her head where it should be really quick. Okay. And when I select that head, her head bone, see where it is? It's like in line with her jaw and the base of her skull, right? But once I add this blend shape, it's no longer in line. It has moved. It's not like as low as it was. So it's basically, it's being affected, but not quite right. Okay, and where this is really going to look strange is the eyes, because you see where the transform position of this eye is way down here where the original eye should be, and our eyes are up here. So if we rotate, the pivot is in the wrong place because the bones don't move, the morphs move. Now, how can you fix this? Like, I still want to use this because I think she's kind of awesome. Like I kind of really want that. Well, what the iPhone does is they turn these eyes into blend shapes, and they don't use bones at all. So, you know, if you're doing a live puppet like I do, this kind of wouldn't, I mean, it's more work, but it kind of wouldn't be a huge problem. And what you would do is, oh, I'm going to show you a shortcut. Okay, eyes, eyelashes, teeth, body. Okay, I've got all of the meshes selected, and I'm going to do a shortcut with skin, shapes, 0 values, and I am back to regular boring boring fit A. Okay, but how I would fix the eyes, or rather how can I change the eyes, the eye look directions, into blend shapes like the iPhone uses? Well, I think you kind of already know. Basically, you just pose the eyes. Which eye am I affecting? None of them. Okay, please pay attention. I'm going to select the eye. Which one? Right eye. And what you would do is you would set the position, and there is a blend shape for right eye in. There's a blend shape for right eye out. There's a blend shape for right eye up and a blend shape for right eye down. And you would go ahead and you would, again, you would bake to mesh, like I showed you with the dimple shapes. And then you would do the opposite. You would mesh to blend shape. So that's kind of my tutorial. I wanted to go ahead and take it a little bit too far so that you would see, like, you know, what a really distorted person looks like. And notice, like, if I can't combine these meshes yet, because if I were going to combine these meshes now, I need to edit all of these matching, or rather coordinating blend shapes. I need to give them all the same name so that when we combine the meshes, like I showed you in a previous video, they will all receive a single blend shape slider to control them. And even though we can't use this, I love that shape. So, but if you baked out the eyes and, you know, created blend shapes for the eyes, and then we would basically go into the figure and we could use skin again to edit the bones. And I'm not going to do that, but basically you would go into the bones and you would remove the eye bones and replace them with blend shapes. How about that? Okay, I have no idea how long this tutorial was, and I hope that you learned some stuff. And I'm saving a more complicated one for my next video, which is we're gonna bring in full body morphs. But you see, there are some limitations with the rigging, so we really have to kind of respect the rigging when we do this. But we can still do a lot in Fuse. And you know, you can also just like bake out a mesh renderer and then take that into a 3D modeler, or maybe you have tools in Unity that can, you know, push the vertices around. Or, you know, I use Wrap 3, and so you could create an entirely new sculpt wrap for your figure. You know how to do it if you want to jump ahead, but I will be showing you this stuff in the next video. So if you found this video useful, hit the like button. Leave me a comment if you didn't understand anything, or if you still want to learn. So if you need me to explain a little more. And subscribe, because that's how you know when the new videos are released. And I will check you out next time, guys. This is Cutscene Artist. Thanks for watching.